It's all still a bit unknown. That's the line Max Verstappen chose at Red Bull's 2026 car launch in Detroit, standing next to a brand new era of Formula One and basically telling the world we're walking into the fog. And what makes that terrifying isn't the wording, it's the timing. Because 2026 isn't a regular upgrade cycle. It's a total reset, new engine rules, new car dimensions, and Red Bull building their own power units with Ford for the first time. Now listen closely to what Max is really saying here. He isn't hyping up a fresh start, he's warning you that this is not going to feel normal, even for him. It's a very big change with the engine, the dimension of the car has changed, he said, and then he followed it with the detail that should make every Red Bull fan sit up straight. For the drivers, it will take a bit of time to adjust. That's Verstappen admitting there's going to be a learning curve in an era where you don't get time. Because if you begin slow in a regulation revolution, you don't just lose races, you lose an entire season before you even understand why. And this is where it gets uncomfortable. Because the moment Max said unknown, the story stopped being about a car reveal and became about Red Bull's biggest gamble in modern F1. In previous years, Red Bull could build the best chassis on the grid and lean on Honda power to complete the package. But 2026 is different. This time, Red Bull aren't just launching a new car, they're launching a new identity. And that identity includes producing their own power unit in partnership with Ford. That sounds exciting in marketing language, but in championship language, it's terrifying. Because the teams that control the engine control the era. And if you get the engine wrong at the beginning, it's not a fix-it-in-2 races problem. It's a welcome to the midfield problem. Here's what most fans miss. Drivers don't casually say unknown at launches unless the team themselves are still searching for the baseline. Max didn't talk like a man who believes Red Bull will show up and instantly dominate again. He talked like a man preparing his mind for turbulence. He even stressed how important test days are for simply getting laps in, because they need real-world data to understand what this car actually is. And that tells you the scary part. They're not fully confident yet in how quickly they'll unlock performance. In a new era, that's how dynasties die, not with a crash, but with a slow realization that the concept isn't where it needs to be. And if you love this kind of story, the stuff behind the press smiles, the power shifts nobody wants to say out loud, you're already subscribed. Because casual fans watch liveries, the smart ones watch body language, wording, and timing. And Max's timing here is perfect. Because Red Bull are walking into 2026 with two wars happening at once, winning races while building an engine program that has to survive pressure from Mercedes, Ferrari, and everyone else who already knows how to play this game. Now let's escalate this properly. Red Bull aren't entering 2026 from domination. They're entering it from revenge mode, because Verstappen's run of 4 straight titles ended last season in Abu Dhabi, with Lando Norris taking his maiden championship after Max's late surge fell short. That changes the psychology inside the garage. When you're winning, you're calm. When you're chasing, you take risks. And when you take risks in a new rule era, you can build something brilliant, or you can build something that never truly works because the fundamentals were wrong from day one. So when Max says motivation is high, when he says it's better to end a season with momentum, when he talks about everyone being excited to start a new chapter, it sounds inspirational until you realize what new chapter really means in Formula One. It means the page is turning whether you like it or not. It means the old advantages might not carry over. It means there might be a new king. And Verstappen, of all people, understands that better than anyone because he's seen how quickly power can shift when the rules change. Now here's the pattern interrupt that flips the entire mood. Red Bull's own leadership has already hinted they expect to be behind early. Team boss Laurent Mekies reportedly believes Red Bull will be trailing rivals at the start of the season. Read that again. Trailing. That's not Red Bull language. That's not the team that used to treat weekends like a formality. That's a team trying to buy time and manage expectations. And yes, their engine boss Ben Hodgkinson has said the team started later than rivals but insists their new facilities and people are top class. Which brings us to a question that should make your brain itch. If you're truly ahead in capability, why are you preparing the public for a slow start? Because this isn't just about performance, it's about pressure. And pressure changes how teams behave. It changes how drivers speak. It changes how politics start leaking into headlines. And politics are already in the air around these new regulations. Reports have mentioned controversy over a potential engine loophole involving thermal expansion and rivals challenging each other through fire discussions. That matters because in brand new engine eras, the first grey area discovery is basically a superweapon. If Red Bull finds something clever, everyone screams. If they don't, someone else will. And suddenly Red Bull aren't just racing cars, they're racing lawyers, engineers, and rule interpretations. So if you're wondering why Max sounded so controlled, so measured, so almost cautious, that's why. Because 2026 isn't about who's brave, it's about who's right, who reads the rules correctly, who builds the best system, and Red Bull are building a new system while trying to reclaim the title they just lost. Now I'm going to say something that will annoy some people, and I want you to argue with me in the comments. Verstappen is the greatest insurance policy any team could have, but even he can't drag the wrong concept to a championship. If Red Bull build a car that doesn't understand the new engine balance, the new dimensions, the new aero philosophy, Max can't outdrive physics. He can't outdrive a power deficit. He can't outdrive a platform that eats tires or refuses to rotate in slow corners. He can survive it. He can minimize damage, but he can't rewrite an entire era by force. And this is the moment where the real fans lean in, because you can feel the stakes rising. Red Bull's 2026 project isn't just a car. It's a test of whether the team can win without the exact conditions that created their dynasty. It's a test of whether their genius is structural or situational. And Verstappen is the first person you can trust to tell the truth without saying it too loudly. If you're still watching right now, you're not here for a headline. You're here for the deeper layer, and that's why you belong here. This isn't F1 gossip. This is the part of the sport where championships are decided before the lights even go out. And I want a real debate from you. Does Verstappen calling 2026 an unknown sound like smart caution, or does it sound like Red Bull are bracing for pain? Choose one side and defend it like your life depends on it, because this is the kind of season where receipts will come fast. Now let's deliver the payoff. The terrifying truth isn't that the car is unknown. The terrifying truth is that Red Bull's margin for error is gone. Because if you start the era behind, you're not just chasing lap time, you're chasing development speed, you're chasing confidence, you're chasing internal calm. And the worst scenario isn't one bad weekend, it's the moment the team realizes they can't see the path forward clearly. And if that happens, everything changes. Not just for Red Bull, for the whole sport. Because if Red Bull wobble, every rival gets aggressive. Norris already knows what it feels like to take a crown. Mercedes will see a reset as their window. Ferrari will smell opportunity. The midfield will stop being polite. And suddenly Verstappen isn't the hunter. He's the target with the biggest number on his back. So when Max says unknown, don't hear it like a preseason quote. Hear it like a warning label. The kind you only notice when it's too late. Because this is how dynasties actually end in Formula One. Not with a dramatic collapse, but with a quiet sentence at a launch event that tells you the team doesn't fully know what they've built yet. And here's the last twist. This might be the most exciting thing that's happened to Formula One in years. Because if Red Bull aren't certain, that means nobody is. It means the next champion might not be decided by talent alone. It might be decided by who adapts fastest to chaos. Who finds the loophole first? Who stabilizes the platform first? Who builds the engine map that survives the season without blinking? And Max is preparing for a world where being the best might not be enough. If you want to keep following this story the right way, not the PR way, stick with me. Because the next piece of the puzzle is how Red Bull themselves have hinted they could start 2026 trailing rivals, and what that reveals about their true confidence level. And when you watch that, this unknown quote stops sounding like an interview line and starts sounding like the opening scene of a season that could flip the sport upside down.